Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Kerrith Bajjo has won the 212 division at the 2022 Texas Pro, and he is headed back to the Mr. Olympia. After taking a second place placing to Keon Pearson last week in Tampa, he actually debated shutting it down for the rest of the year, but I'm pretty sure he's glad he did this show. And in second place to the right was Cody Drobot, who took fourth place last weekend in Tampa. So on paper, it was right for him to place second. And this guy has incredible physique, very aesthetic, good lines. Just needs a little bit more size to be competitive with a guy like Kerrith. But this show was pretty much a repeat of last week, outside of Keon Pearson and Nathan Epler going up to the open class. But I'm very excited to see Kerrith back at that Mr. Olympia stage. He placed 8th last year. And in third place was Jordan Janowitz. He was probably the most conditioned guy in this show. And I seen a couple of people actually had him placing a bit higher than this. Now, going into this show, I was looking at his Instagram updates, and he was looking incredible, but I wasn't sure he was going to stack up with these guys, so that's why I didn't have him in my top 4. But I definitely should have put him in my top 4, and going forward, I will be looking at this guy. You guys let me know in the comments in my prediction video that he could potentially be in the top 3, so shout out to the experts that predicted that. And in fourth place was Ricky Moulton. And this guy has an incredible structure. He just needs to come in a little more condition. And I notice a lot of people tend to talk down on his coach, Dorian Hamilton. But Dorian does a great job with Quentin Araya as well as Antoine Valant. Those two guys come in peel. Ricky hasn't been competing as much, and I think he just needs a little bit more time with his coach to bring in their conditioning. But I believe this guy has the potential to be winning shows now if he brings in better conditioning, and he could also improve his posing. He looked to be a bit more conditioned at 2 or 3 days out. And switching over to Classic Physique, we actually had this division being won by Kerrith Opara, who also won the Tampa Pro last weekend, making that back-to-back pro wins for him. And Kerrith placed 15th at last year's Mr. Olympia. Now, it was actually a great battle between him and Valentin Petrov. Both of these guys also went at it last week at Tampa. And honestly, I believe they're very close. I could have seen this going either way. I believe Kerrith may have an overall more classic structure, so to say. But this guy just needs a little bit more size, speaking of Valentin. And Kerrith could improve a bit from the back. And what always confuses me is Kerrith Opara placed 4th at the Arnold Classic last year and placed 15th at last year's Mr. Olympia. That was crazy, but great showing from both of these guys. And I also want to mention Florian Porsten, who placed 5th in this competition. It was a lot of hype going into this guy on Instagram. He's coached by Patrick Tour. He actually made a transformation from competing in Open to competing in Classic Physique. I'm not 100% sure why he did that, because in the Open class, he was a pretty good competitor. He actually placed 8th at this British Grand Prix when James Hollingshead won this show. This guy could have potentially won this show, and he honestly placed 8th, but that's a whole different conversation. If he downsized for health reasons, I can 100% understand, but he was definitely more competitive in the Open. If any of you guys have any more insight, let me know in the comment section below. Now, switching over to Men's Physique, we had this division being won by Daniel Ammons. And once again, this guy won the Tampa Pro last weekend, beating out Andre Ferguson. And this weekend, he wins the Texas Pro, beating out Andre Du, who was a former top 4 Men's Physique Olympian. And I believe Andre could have came in a bit harder. And in third place, we had Charjo Grant. I don't really know much about Men's Physique, but if I have any Men's Physique experts, let me know in the comment section below, how does this top 3 look? And honestly, I believe Andre could have been a bit more conditioned. And Charjo that came in third, I believe Andre just has a better structure. He looks a bit wider, which is probably why he placed above him. But I'm glad that politics aren't playing into these shows and they're letting the best guy win. As always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness. That's it. I'm out.